The distress call. The great chamber of the Galactic Assembly fell silent as Ambassador Solara stepped onto the speaking platform. Her translucent skin, usually radiating a calming azure glow, now flickered with faint pulses of desperate crimson. The 3,000 representatives of the Assembly watched with growing unease. No Solarian had ever appeared before them in such a state of distress. Esteemed members of the Assembly, Solara began, her melodic voice cracking with strain. I come before you today not with diplomatic proposals or cultural exchanges, but with a plea that will determine whether my species lives to see another cycle. The massive holographic display behind her activated, showing a beautiful crystalline planet orbiting a binary star system. Solara Prime, homeworld of the Solarians, renowned across the galaxy for their advanced arts and philosophy. The image shifted to real-time footage, and gasps echoed throughout the chamber. Dark, biomechanical ships swarmed around the once pristine world. The planet's famous crystal cities lay shattered, its oceans tainted with strange black effluent. This is happening now, Solara continued, her voice hollow. The entity known as the Void Swarm entered our system 7 planetary rotations ago. They have already consumed our 3 colony worlds. Our defenses have failed. Our evacuation ships have been intercepted. And she paused, struggling to maintain composure, harvested. We estimate that over 4 billion Solarians have already perished. The ancient Vox speaker of the Assembly, Matriarch Zivix, leaned forward on her gravity throne. Ambassador, the Assembly shares your grief, but you must understand our position. For 50,000 years, our covenant has maintained peace through absolute non-militarization. No member world maintains weapons of war. The Assembly has no standing army to send to your aid. Then we are doomed, Solara said simply, her glow dimming further. From the back of the chamber, a figure rose. Unlike the floating, hovering, or gliding representatives around her, she stood firmly on 2 legs. Commander Elena Reyes of Earth straightened her midnight blue uniform, the Silver Earth Defense Force insignia catching the light as she moved toward the central platform. Whispers spread throughout the chamber. Humans were the newest and most controversial addition to the Assembly, admitted less than 3 standard years ago, and still viewed with deep suspicion by many. Their homeworld had been classified as a Class 5 death world, a planet so inherently hostile that it produced naturally aggressive, physically robust, and dangerously adaptable sentient life. The classification alone had nearly prevented Earth's admission. Speaker Zivix, Commander Rice said, her voice cutting through the murmurs. Earth can help. Zivix's compound eyes narrowed. Commander Rice, this Assembly appreciates Earth's enthusiasm since joining our collective, but the Void Swarm is not some minor border dispute. They are cosmic locusts that have destroyed civilizations far older than your own. Reyes stood unflinching. With respect, Speaker, I'm not offering diplomatic solutions. I'm offering the Earth Defense Fleet. The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. Many representatives activated translator devices, certain they had misunderstood. A fleet? Asked the Nebulonian ambassador, his gas-clouded body pulsing with confusion. Your species maintains military vessels. We maintain 57 combat-ready warships, each with full complement, Rise answered calmly. Our primary battle group can deploy within 12 hours. Zivix's gravity throne hummed as it brought her closer to the human. Commander Rise, Earth signed the non-militarization covenant upon joining this assembly. Your admission was contingent on disarmament. Rise smiled slightly. We signed an agreement to never use military force against any assembly member or bring weapons to assembly space. We did not agree to disarm completely. Earth's history and evolution demanded we maintain defensive capabilities against unknown threats. This is outrageous, shouted the representative from Proxima Centauri, his crystalline form vibrating with indignation. Earth deliberately missiled the assembly. Earth protected itself, Rice countered, as any species from a world where every day is a fight for survival would. And now that protection can save billions of lives. She turned to Solara. Ambassador, how long until the swarm reaches your homeworld? Solara's voice was barely audible. Our scientists estimate 3 planetary rotations before they'd breach our final defensive line. Reyes nodded and activated her wrist communicator. Admiral Chen, this is Commander Reyes. The situation is confirmed. Prepare the fleet for immediate deployment to the Solara system. A crisp voice responded. Understood, Commander. Battle Group Theta is on standby. We can jump in 4 hours. Speaker Zivix's throne hummed angrily. Commander, you have no authorization to. I'm not asking for authorization. Reyes interrupted, her tone respectful but unyielding. I'm informing the Assembly of Earth's decision to answer a humanitarian distress call. Under Earth law and the Mutual Defense Clause of our Constitution, we have both the right and obligation to respond. She turned to face the entire chamber. For 3 years, many of you have regarded humans with fear and suspicion. You've called us Deathworlders, like it's something to be ashamed of. But today, that same evolutionary heritage you fear might be the only thing standing between a peaceful species and extinction. Solara moved toward Reyes, her glow brightening slightly with the first flicker of hope. Your people would risk their lives for mine. We have nothing to offer in return. That's not how humans operate, Reyes said simply. We help because we can, because it's right, and because one day we might be the ones needing help. The human turned back to the assembly. Earth doesn't seek permission, but we do request intelligence data on the Void Swarm, safe passage through assembly transit points, and medical support for potential refugees. Speaker Zivix was silent for a long moment. Then her voice came solemnly through the chamber. The assembly has survived for 50 millennia by avoiding conflict, not engaging in it. But we cannot deny that our philosophy now leaves us unable to protect our own. Commander Reyes, your request for transit and intelligence is granted. As Reyes left the chamber with Ambassador Solara, the assembly erupted in chaos. For the first time in recorded history, warships would enter assembly space, wrought by the very species many had feared would disturb their peaceful existence. Admiral Wei Chen stood on the bridge of the EDF Indomitable, Earth's largest battlecruiser and the flagship of Battle Group Theta. At just over 2 kilometers in length, its sleek, predatory profile reflected humanity's long history of naval warfare adapted to the void of space. All ships report ready for jump. Admiral, reported his XO. Commander Dias. The Solarian ambassador's ship has transmitted final coordinates. Chen nodded, studying the tactical display. 27 warships, nearly half of Earth's defense fleet, were positioned in perfect formation. It was the largest military deployment in human history, and no one on Earth had hesitated when the order came down. Humanity understood extinction-level threats all too well. Admiral, called Lieutenant Park from the communication station, incoming transmission from the Solarian ambassador. The main view screen activated, showing Ambassador Solara aboard her small diplomatic vessel. Even through the screen, Chen could see how her luminescence had dimmed to almost nothing. Admiral Chen, she said, her voice trembling, I just received word from our defensive perimeter. The Void Swarm has accelerated their approach. They will reach our homeworld in less than 20 hours. Chen's expression remained composed, but his eyes hardened. We'll make the jump immediately. Ambassador, have your ship dock with the Indomitable. We'll need your knowledge during the battle. As Solara's ship approached the massive Earth vessel, she gazed through her viewport at the human battle fleet. The ships were angular, armored, bristling with weapons. Nothing like the sleek, artistic vessels of assembly species. These were machines built for war by a species that understood conflict at a primal level. For the first time in weeks, Solara felt something other than despair. The Deathworlders were coming to their aid, and perhaps the very qualities the Assembly had feared in humans would prove to be the salvation of her people. The jump engines of 27 Earth warships engaged simultaneously, tearing holes in space-time as they accelerated toward the besieged Solarian homeworld, bringing with them humanity's answer to the Void Swarm's hunger, the righteous fury of a species that had survived its own death world and refused to let another peaceful civilization fall. Deathworlders unleashed. The EDF Indomitable emerged from its jump point at the edge of the Solarian home system, followed in precise formation by the 26 other ships of Battle Group Theta. Admiral Chen stood motionless at the command center as sensor data flooded in, his experienced eyes taking in the tactical situation within seconds. "Mother of Mercy," whispered Commander Dias beside him. The Void Swarm was vast. Hundreds of biomechanical ships ranging from small drone fighters to massive hive carriers. They encircled Solara Prime like a dark cloud, methodically bombarding the planet's last defensive energy barrier. The shield flickered dangerously, sections failing and regenerating in a losing battle against the onslaught. Ambassador Solara gasped as she entered the bridge, her translucent form pulsing with shock at the sight of her besieged homeworld. "We're too late," she whispered. "The outer defense grid has already fallen." "We're right on time," Admiral Chen countered calmly. He turned to his tactical officer, Lieutenant Commander Okafor. Analysis. The tactical officer's fingers danced across her console. "I count approximately 432 swarm vessels of various classifications. Their formation suggests they're not expecting resistance. They're focused entirely on planetary bombardment. No sign they've detected us yet." Chen nodded. "Good. We maintain stealth approach. Commander Dias, deploy reconnaissance drones. I want detailed scans of their biology and communication patterns." Ambassador Solara moved closer to the Admiral, her voice tight with confusion. "You're not attacking immediately. My people are dying while we wait." Chen's expression remained impassive, but his voice softened slightly. "Ambassador, your people have survived this long. Give us 10 minutes to gather intelligence, and we'll save far more lives than if we charge in blindly." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency as data from the stealthy reconnaissance drones flowed in. Lieutenant Park at Communications suddenly straightened. "Admiral, I'm detecting unusual patterns in the swarm's communications. They're using quantum entanglement signaling, but there's a recognizable syntax. The AI is deciphering it now." "They have language?" Solara asked, surprised. "We detected nothing but noise in their transmissions." "Not language as you'd understand it," Park explained, studying her readouts. "More like a biological command structure. Each larger ship appears to control a segment of smaller vessels through quantum instructions." Admiral Chen's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "A hive mind with distributed control nodes. Show me the largest command vessels." The tactical display highlighted 7 massive ships at different points around the planet. "Those are our primary targets," Chen decided. "Commander Dias, battle plan Hydra." Dias nodded sharply and began relaying orders to the fleet. The Earth vessels started separating into 7 strike groups, each positioning itself behind a stellar body or debris field for cover. Solara watched in confusion. "What are you doing? Your ships are separating. Shouldn't you concentrate your firepower?" Chen shook his head. That's what they'd expect from a conventional military force. Concentration of power. But humans didn't evolve as herd animals, Ambassador. We evolved as pack hunters. The tactical display updated as each strike group reported ready. Chen studied it for a moment longer, then nodded. "All ships, execute on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark." In perfect synchronization, the 7 strike groups accelerated from their hiding positions, each targeting one of the massive command ships. The Void Swarm, focused entirely on the planetary bombardment, detected the approaching threat too late. The first Earth missiles struck the rearmost command ship before it could reorient its defenses. Advanced antimatter warheads detonated against the biomechanical hull, tearing through the alien structure. Railgun batteries from 3 Earth cruisers opened fire simultaneously, their hypervelocity projectiles punching clean through the wounded vessel. Command Ship 1 is critical, reported Okafor. Its drone control signal is collapsing. On the tactical display, dozens of smaller swarm vessels surrounding the damaged command ship suddenly began moving erratically, some colliding with each other. As we suspected, Chen said, satisfaction evident in his voice. Without direct control, the smaller units lose coordination. All ships continue with the attack plan. Focus fire on command vessels. The battle unfolded across the Solarian system as Earth's warships executed their attacks with precision and ferocity. The Void Swarm, faced with an unexpected threat from multiple vectors, struggled to mount an effective defense. 3 more command ships were crippled within the first 20 minutes of combat. On the Indomitable's bridge, Solara watched in astonishment. "Your tactics. I've never seen anything like this." "Urban warfare principles adapted to space," explained Commander Dias. "On Earth, we learned long ago that fighting in cities requires small, coordinated strike teams rather than massed forces." Admiral Chen literally wrote the book on applying these principles to space combat. The tactical situation shifted as the remaining swarm command ships diverted forces from the planetary bombardment to deal with the Earth fleet. The massive alien vessels began coordinating, focusing their attacks on the Earth flagship. "They're adapting," Admiral Chen observed calmly. "They've identified the Indomitable as our command vessel. Initiating Phase 2. At his command, the Earth fleet suddenly executed a complex maneuver. Ships that had been attacking in coordinated groups broke formation, each vessel now operating independently according to pre-planned protocols. Communication between Earth ships dropped to minimal levels, replaced by autonomous action within strategic parameters. The Void Swarm's coordinated attack faltered as they found themselves facing not one centralized force, but 27 independent combat units, each making tactical decisions without needing constant guidance. "What's happening?" Solara asked, bewildered by the seemingly chaotic movements of the Earth fleet. "Distributed command structure," Chen explained. "Every Earth captain is trained to operate independently if needed. No central node to target." He allowed himself a small smile. Another Death World adaptation. On Earth, predators that hunt in strict hierarchies die when they lose their leader. Humans learn to coordinate without constant direction. The battle raged for hours. Earth vessels took damage. 3 destroyers were severely crippled, and a light cruiser Jakarta was lost with all hands. But the Void Swarm suffered catastrophic losses as the humans exploited their hierarchical weaknesses. As the 6th command ship erupted in a spectacular explosion, the remaining swarm vessels began a disorganized retreat. Without their controlling nodes, the biomechanical drones reverted to base survival protocols. "They're running," announced Okafor, unable to keep the triumph from her voice. Admiral Chen nodded solemnly. "Launch recovery operations for any damaged Earth vessels. Deploy medical ships to the surface. And send a message to Earth Command. Battle Group Theta requests reinforcements for system security and humanitarian aid." As the adrenaline of battle faded, the bridge crew took stock of what they had accomplished. Against overwhelming numerical odds, the Earth fleet had defeated a threat that had consumed dozens of worlds before. The cost had been high. 412 human lives lost, 4 ships destroyed, and 9 more severely damaged. But Solara Prime and its billions of inhabitants had been saved. Ambassador Solara approached Admiral Chen, her form now glowing with a brilliant blue light. "Admiral, I don't know how to thank you. My people owe their existence to yours." Chen shook his head. "No thanks necessary, Ambassador. This is what humans do." "The Assembly never understood your species," Solara continued. "They feared your aggressive nature, your military capabilities, what did they call it? Your Death World mentality. And now," Chen asked quietly, "now they will understand that sometimes the universe needs Death Worlders," she answered. "That the very traits they feared in humans, your tenacity, your capacity for violence when necessary, your pack hunter instincts, these things can protect as well as threaten." As the Indomitable moved into orbit around Solara Prime, emergency teams preparing to descend to the surface, Admiral Chen looked out at the stars. Humanity had revealed itself today, shown the galaxy what a species forged on a death world could do when provoked. Some assembly species would fear them more than ever. But as he watched Ambassador Solara coordinate with Earth medical teams, he knew something else had been revealed too. That the same evolutionary history that made humans dangerous had also instilled in them a fierce protective instinct, an unwavering determination to stand against extinction, not just their own, but anyone's. The Assembly had always seen only the death in Deathworlders. Today they had glimpsed the other side of that coin, a species that understood struggle so deeply that they would never stand by and watch another civilization fall. The Deathworlders had come, and the galaxy would never be the same.